All right, let's do some solving multi-step equations notes here, 2-2. We've got a gold problem up at the top. Go ahead and take some time to take a peek at that. If you want to pause the video, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, we're just going to jump into example A. We're asked to solve 10 equals 3x minus 5. So let's go ahead and take a look at where our x value is, if that's what we're going to solve for. X is on the right-hand side of the equation, so that means that I want to try and isolate the x to figure out what it is. So I see two operations. I'm multiplying x by 3 and then subtracting 5. Now, because I have an equation here, right? Because I'm setting this equal to something else and I want to try and isolate or solve for the x, solve what number x actually represents here, I need to use my inverse order of operations. Right? Usually in order of operations we use PEMDAS, but in this case we're going to use SADMAP, right? We're going to go backwards. So if I'm going backwards with my order of operations, that means that I want to try and do this addition and subtraction first. So inverse, or the opposite of minusing 5, is going to be adding 5. And if I do that to the right-hand side of the equation, that means I also have to do it to the left-hand side of the equation. So left side of the equals, add 5. Right side of the equals, add 5. I'm going to add 5 to this minus 5 because that's what I can combine it with. Now, draw a line just like we're back in elementary school. 10 plus 5 over on the left-hand side should give us 15. Equals. Didn't combine anything with 3x, so we'll just copy that down. Negative 5 and positive 5, that's 0. Don't need to put plus 0, right? And I'm closer to finding out what x is, but I don't actually have it solved 100% yet. I need to do one more inverse operation, right? Right now, 3 and x being right up next to each other, right, that's a multiplication problem. So the inverse of multiplying 3 by x is going to be dividing by 3. And again, if I need to do that to the right side of my equation, I also have to do it to the left side, right? So 15 divided by 3, there are 5 3's in 15. And then 3x divided by 3, that's going to cancel out. It's just 1, right? Or 1x, or just x. So solving for x in this equation, we can isolate x to be by itself and know that the x value is 5. And if we wanted to check, we could substitute that back in here and simplify if we wanted to, right? All right, let's do another example. I've got a few examples here. All right, and letter B, excuse me. Again, I hope we're noticing an equal sign, right? Right down, right in the middle. That's going to be where we do a lot of our work around. And if I want to solve this equation for x, x is now on the left side instead of the right-hand side. Okay? Trying to get x by itself, I'm doing inverse operations again, right? So I'm not doing PEMDAS, I'm doing SADMAP, right? I'm going backwards. So I want to do addition and subtraction first, which means that I want to inverse this minus 7. The inverse, or the opposite of minusing 7, is adding 7. Now that's to the left of the equal sign, left of that blue highlight, so I also have to do it to the right of that blue highlight. And there we go. Got my line just like we were back in elementary school. Not combining anything with negative 4x, going to keep that right there. Negative 7 and positive 7, that's 0, right? But I don't have to put plus 0. Equals 21 plus 7, I think. It's 28. And now we're closer, right? This x is still over here. I'm still focusing in on this x, right? But it's not by itself quite yet. Now, let's determine what inverse operation we got to do next. Negative 4 is right up next to x. That means multiplication. So our inverse, or the opposite of that multiplication, now is going to be division. And I want to divide by that negative 4. Okay, negative 4 divided by negative. Negative divided by negative, that's positive. That's right. That's what we want. 4 divided by 4 is 1, or 1x, or just x. On the right-hand side, the positive 28, positive divided by the negative, gives me a negative. And then 28 divided by 4, there are 7 4's in 28. So, we figured out what x is going to be, or x should be. X is negative 7. All right, I think the next couple of examples are going to be a little bit trickier. So let's see if we can't battle through some of these, okay? Again, we're solving. We've got an equal sign in the middle, so solving is what we're going to be doing. And let's isolate our x over on the left side. Now, a lot of students will look at this and see that fraction and freak out. Don't freak out, okay? Nothing to freak out about here. It's just a fraction, okay? We're still guided by the same idea. We're going to get x by itself, and because we're doing it inside of an equation here, we're going to use inverses. So I want to inverse addition and subtraction first. So my subtraction now is with 5. So what's the opposite or the inverse of subtracting by 5? Adding a 5. So that process doesn't change. Go ahead and do that first step. Get the problem rolling here. We'll deal with the fraction here in just a second, okay? We'll just, we got nothing to combine with 1/2 x. It's right there. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. Or minus 5 and plus 5, that combines together to be 0. Let's see, negative 3 and positive 5, when we combine these, right, this is a subtraction problem. So 5 minus 3 is 2. And there are 5 positives, so they win the battle over the negatives, so our 2 is going to be positive there. All right, now we got to deal with the fraction. I know that causes us consternation, but let's go ahead and look at this here, okay? Right now, this 1/2 is right up next to the x. Okay, just like up above, right, we had that negative 4 right up next to the x. And right up above here where we had 3 right up next to the x. And in those instances, we used division, right? We divided by 3 here, we divided by negative 4 there. In this one, we're going to do the exact same thing. We still need to divide by 1/2. So we're just going to divide both sides by 1/2. Okay? And so left-hand side of this, 1/2 divided x divided by 1/2. Okay, those are going to, they're the same thing, right? So it's 1x or just x, right? These will cancel out. Equals. Now, I don't know about y'all, but fractions inside of fractions, that's even scarier than just one fraction. So let's rewrite this, right? We want to rewrite this as a division problem because that's all this fraction means. We're dividing by 1/2. We're taking 2 and dividing by 1/2. Now, hopefully we can remember our idea around dividing fractions, right? We want to try and take this, where's my cursor? There it is, 2, and multiply by the reciprocal of this. I want to multiply by 2 over 1. Oh, and 2 times 2 over 1, that's just 4 over 1, right? Which 4 divided by 1 is just 4. So x is going to equal 4. All right, so let's take just one look back at this, right? Okay, dividing by 1/2. Just rewriting it as 2 divided by 1/2, horizontally instead of vertically. Then we had to remember our, I hesitated to even say this, but I'll say it now. Copy, dot, flip, right? Copy the first problem, dot the second, flip, okay? And then 2 times 2 is 4 over, and some kids will like to do this, so I'll put it in here too. You'll put 2 over 1 as well. 1 times 1 is 1 in the denominator. So that you get 4 over 1. And remembering that fractions just mean division, 4 divided by 1 is 4. Okay? All right, let's see one more like this. I think we should probably try one extra one, okay? Let's do this one. Again, we've got equal sign, solving for x. And if I'm locating my x, it's on the right-hand side of the equation, so this is where I want to do my work, over on this side. Yes, I see the fraction. Yes, I know I'm going to have to deal with that eventually. No, I'm not going to worry about that yet because I've got a plus 4. I want to do addition and subtraction as my inverse first. So the inverse, or the opposite of this plus 4, we'll start with that. That gives us something to write. So we want a minus 4 on both sides. All right, we're combining here, and these two are on the same team. We got 6 negatives and 4 negatives. If I'm combining 6 negatives and 4 negatives on the same team, I get 10 negatives. I'm not going to copy anything with that ugly fraction yet. I mean, I'm not going to do anything with that ugly fraction except copy it. And 4 minus 4 is 0. I don't have to put plus 0. Now, 1/3 right up next to x, right? That's a multiplication problem. So the inverse or the opposite of that multiplication is division. Okay? Now, the left side of this is that really complicated thing. So say it out loud if it helps, and then write it horizontally instead of vertically like this. It's -10 divided by 1/3. That's the same thing. We're just rewriting. Equals 1/3 x over 1/3. 1/3 divided by 1/3 is just 1, or 1x, or x. And now we've got a fraction problem here, a division with a fraction, so we need to multiply by the reciprocal. Copy dot flip. So change to multiplication, excuse me, by 3 over 1. And I could put my equals x if I want to there. And now multiplying fractions is a little bit easier. Negative times positive is a negative. 10 times 3 is 30 over 1 times 1, which is 1. And now fractions just mean divide. -30 divided by +1 is -30. Now, we'll just, if you see some stuff that you can maybe make this part a little bit quicker, right over here. If you see some connections that might be able to make that a little quicker, try them out. See if you can figure it out. If not, write it out like this, okay? It never hurts to actually write that stuff out, all right? So I think you have, let's see, yep, you've got, I think, 8 problems here to practice these skills with. So go ahead and take some time, work on those 8 problems, and then we'll come back together to do some more examples.